Okay, so maybe I can try to share a couple of tricks I found to retopologize such kind of object in SketchUp, where let's say you have this kind of weird topology which with this triangulated mass in which you cannot easily try to convert triangles to quad or maybe extract some curves, some guidelines to loft it again in a cleaner way, or you cannot simply try to drape a typical quad grid using some drop vertices technique because this goes in so much different direction, which makes it pretty hard to work in that way. If you want to get some clean topology like this, you see this is your typical subdivided mesh, all quads, all good dense mesh. And the way I do this is through a couple of steps in which basically I take the original messy model and subdivide in some rough quad-like surfaces, and then I go in and extract those edges dividing these surfaces and use that as a as a base to quickly, or at least the more quick way possible, to redraw this shape with quads. And let's see how I do this. I will probably fast forward some stages just to give you an idea to avoid a really long video, maybe boring. The way I do this, I start from this very same shape, and I just try to smooth it out as much as possible with the regular slider from here. And you see, I don't know why. Okay, now it's shading the best that it can, but you see, is a very bad model. The way I start to draw those shapes, usually I use something like tools on surface. Maybe this is really useful for the circle parts where you want to keep your circle really low poly and start to draw every possible circle shape, trying to be the most accurate you can. Of course, you cannot be 100% accurate with this kind of base shape, but you try to be the more accurate you can, and then you can try to join these shapes with this sort of pseudo quads, you see, and start to redraw it in a similar way. And you don't need to be accurate that much. You can just sketch it out quite roughly, and don't worry about the bad shading going on, because we are going to fix it later. And of course, another tool that can be really handy with this is the Artisan 2 knife. So let's say you wanna go in your front view without perspective, and you go in and press your Alt key to cut this kind of loops through the whole surface, so that you can speed up the work another bit. And let's say you want to go this way, and maybe something like this, and go on and join all the mesh the best you can, and go in and refine it furthermore with the tools on surface line tool. So let's say you want to go this way, and go on with these techniques. until you are happy with the result, which should be something like this. Let's erase this one and fast forward to this stage. You want to spend mm, some time to try to make it work the best possible way and figure out your ideal topology. And let's say you are left with this. How can I quickly go to this? You can do this in multiple ways. You can, for instance, use window selection and then just select all the edges and copy them. Another way, if you don't happen to have this selection tool, you can just switch to wireframe for a quick selection of edges, and then you copy that and maybe erase all of this. And you see, this is still the bad topology going on with these guidelines. And you get rid of all of these and maybe also these two guide points and just paste in place the edges. And now is most of the tricks. The trick is here. You want to switch to the Quad Face Tools selection tool, and in the context menu of this tool, you find the most probably overlooked option of quad face tools, which is convert wireframe to quads. And what I saw people fails to realize is that this not only works on perfect quad wireframe grid, but also with just a grid of edges which has some kind of quad intersection, let's say. So if I click this calculates for a bit, and it almost perfectly draws. You want to commit this. You see, there are some holes in the mesh, but you have a really quick starting point in this way, so that's not really hard to fix this. You may want to orient your face and then go in with the pencil in Quad Face Tools. You can join these holes, like let's say here, and to speed up this process. Oh, and this is still a bit buggy, so sometimes you can see here the shading happening, so you want to make sure this doesn't create overlap the face. But another trick you can use, aside this this pen, which is really handy, but it tends to give some bug now and then. So maybe you wanna use it for the some parts like this one where it's difficult to close the shape without it. But then you want to patch this other kind of holes with, you see, you may select the loop and let's say deselect this and use something like artisan bridge to quickly close that kind of shape. And if you don't have let's say artisan bridge, another trick could be with curvy loft without any kind of interpolation, and then you just explode and unsmooth the quads and go on like this until you patch all the shape. And again, I here can just use artisan bridge maybe and go on. And again, I select the loop. Here is not working because I have to two uh, adjacent holes, so maybe I want to just close one of these, which is quite buggy. And you see, maybe you can also just use your line and draw by hand, making sure you don't have in internal faces. You can just use the regular pencil from Sketchup and draw a couple of triangles like this, and then use the the tool in quad face tools to just mark diagonals, but still is something going on here because you see it can try to join overlapping faces. So maybe you want to just clean up that by hands. And now I'm left with this big hole. Let's say, let's do another quick example with the curvy loft, where you use this to bridge quickly and explode, and again unsmooth your quads. And you see, now I'm pretty much done. I'm only left with this one to close, and again there's some triangle, duplicated triangle going on, and pretty much I've done it. And you can tell, oh, I skipped the year, and you can tell there is still something going on here, which maybe you want to fix manually, just like this. But, you know, it's not a perfect way, but still quite a fast way to get rid of the messy topology and end up with something like this. And now should be near perfect. Maybe here there's still something funky going on. So let's say I want to close this like this and like this and like this, and make sure it doesn't give any artifacts. And now it is finally. So you see, it's better than nothing. And of course it can shrink a bit compared to the original shape. So what you may want to do is to just giant push pull this, making sure you don't add the thicken to that, and you can reference that geometry, enable that to see something more accurate maybe. And of course you, from this point, you can go in and use other different tools. Let's say if you want to clean up this topology another little bit, you can maybe use vertex tools and the usual techniques to work with quads in SketchUp, or also maybe if you want to make sure that something here is really straight, you can just use usual planar techniques, maybe refine this a bit, and smooth out the mesh here and there. Probably also you could use something like, let's say here I wanna relax something. You can use multiple tools working with quads, and also maybe tools which are not originally intended to work with quads, like let's say I want to straighten this on the y axis, but you see with the edge tools you don't have the support for non-planar quads. But what you can do, you can just you see here is a flat triangles without triangulation, but if I prepare the mesh with triangulate quads, I can now easily work with basically any tool in SketchUp. You only have to be creative about this, and you can really use whatever you want to fix the mesh. So that's it. Of course, this method can work with some uh, easy object, maybe not too much complex, let's say, or objects created with the multiple meshes. But another trick I want to share is that there's this tool which is really amazing, Topogun 3. This is a commercial, but it's quite inexpensive. I bought this maybe 4 years ago when it was still beta, and if I can recall correctly, it was something like $100 at the time when it was beta. Now I believe a couple of months ago they released the stable version, and now it costs if you buy it now maybe something like $150, but still it's really handy. And in this case, let's say I have your typical component from 3D warehouse, which is pretty accurate in size and detail, but has all sort of messy topology going on, and it's really hard to retopologize also with that trick. And of course, it's composed of multiple meshes. So if you quickly wanna rebuild something more quad oriented, this is a great tool. Of course, these are the same tools maybe you can find actually in Blender or 3ds Max or Maya. Blender has Retopoflow, which is really nice. 3ds Max also have some decent tools to create quickly geometry like this, just drawing by hands, or let's say I wanna clear this, I wanna clear all, and just draw quads with regular quad drawing techniques. Oh, I did it absolutely wrong. I need to, let's say, draw a quad like this here, and of course you can edit your geometry quickly using, you see, it's always sticky to the reference surface, and this is something that really most 3D modeler has. You can bridge something, let's say also with this option, which is really nice in this case, with the straight line in which you can forgive me, I'm doing it really bad. Let's do it here where maybe it makes more sense. If you want to draw this, you see the red vertices, they are matching with the bridge in this way. And also with the you can with some other tool like this quickly cut some ring across some protruding shape, and then just create geometry with multiple parameters. But you see, are really basic tools for retopology with tons of option really specialized to do topology, and you can find actually these tools in other software. But what makes really stand out Topogun, which of course also has a typical remesh, you see retopo function, fully automated, but this one has something that other software, I believe, doesn't have, which is this amazing patch tool. And you see, you can draw quad patches, 3 patches. You can also draw two-sided patches like this, and then, of course, commit your geometry. And what is really amazing about this tool is also that you can keep going. You see, even on existing geometry, you can create new patches and join to the existing one. And then what you can do is sort of semi-automatic retopo, because you see, if you press control and scroll your mouse wheel on the edges, you can change the number of loops to create all sort of different topology. And also if you can maybe have a multiple option of joining the same topology, you can do the same on this red dot at the center. In this case is not really meaningful, but let's say I have got something like more topology which can be joined in different way. You see what happen. You can have multiple option and cycle through them and see what is working better for you. So definitely worth to have a look into this tool. Another reason I say that is that you can easily export an OBJ, and if you use Quad Face Tools OBJ importer, you can have a really nice retopologized model in Sketchup because Quad Face tool is able to import the quads produced by this, and so it's a good starting point. If you are really into retopology, you may want to look at this. So that's it. I hope this was interesting and useful, maybe.